Oh, stop. I don't know if I'm in that. Okay, let me get my phone. I forgot it. I am hoping. Cool. Hey, hello everyone. Let's see. I am going to get on to my phone so I can see all of your messages. Any questions you might have. So we can get started. How are you guys doing today? Yeah, I hope you're doing well. Let me see. Hopefully I am on my actual page. Let me see here. I don't know. Okay, so tell me who is watching because I might be on my business page. Hi, Jen. Can you tell me, am I on the Whole Brain Connections group or am I on my business page? I know it's kind of lame that I'm asking you that, huh? Can somebody tell me because I don't see myself in this. Click to view comments. Okay. Okay, cool. Hey, Jen. Can you tell me if I am actually on my Whole Brain Gym? Let's see. I am going to get on. Hey, Jen. I think the group. Can you tell me if I am actually on my Whole Brain? Okay, I think so. Okay, we're just gonna go with this. If for some crazy reason I am not in the right place, I apologize. I will post it in the group. Okay, so good to see you. My camera is a little cloudy. All right, it's already been 2 minutes and I've been trying to get this put together, so I apologize. Okay, so welcome everyone. Hey, listen, make sure that you put in if you're hashtag live or hashtag replay, give me some fire. That's what I'm going to ask you to do today. I'm going to talk to you today about primitive reflexes, specifically about the palmar and the Babkin or the suck reflex. Those are two kind of different ones, but the Babkin that goes with the hands as well as the Moro. So I'm going to talk to you about primitive reflexes, why they're so important and connected to behavior and a child's ability to learn and to just be at ease with life. And then I'm going to show you actually how to test for them so you can see if your child has any active reflexes. And I want to do that because it's a little snippet of my sensory motor mini course that you might be interested in getting. It's over on my website. It teaches you all about neurodevelopmental movement and how it helps calm and connect the brain. So I'm taking a little bit of that from my slides and I'm going to share that with you today. Okay, great. So as we are talking today, if anything connects for you, if anything like makes sense or you're excited about or you want to try, please give me some fire. And the reason I'm asking you to do that, because the more that you engage, the more that this video will go out and send reminders to the rest of the people in the group. And so it's just a part of what Facebook does. The more that you engage, the more that you ask questions, the more people who are reached and the more people who will know about this and take the time to come watch it and hopefully help their kids and their families. All right. So again, welcome. I want you to know something really quick before we get into this is that I think this time right now is so exciting. And I know that might sound kind of strange, but I see this opportunity for so many of us to come together as families to really revisit where our priorities are and where we put our time and our energy. And for some of us, we're under an immense amount of stress because there's so much new. But I want you to know that there's hope and there's good things ahead. There's amazing things ahead. And I want you to look at what things are really going right in your life and the opportunity that you have to be with your kids, to be at home and to grow closer together and problem solve together. So that is my big goal. That's the reason why I do what I do, is to help families increase and improve behavior, focus, and learning, but also strengthen family teamwork and communication so that we can have harmony in our homes. Okay, so let me switch to my screen, my full screen here. I don't think I want my picture in there. I don't know if I have a choice. Okay. Anyways, so let me get to my first slide I want to share with you. Okay. So what I want to tell you today is the definition of a primitive reflex. Okay, so it's an automatic movement pattern in response to a specific stimuli. So why does this matter? Okay, these are primitive, and these are basically like baby movements. These are the movements that help a baby to be born, to take its first breath, to be able to roll over, sit up, stand, and walk. These are developmentally foundation to functioning as a human being, okay? And so they are the building blocks of learning, focus, and behavior. And if these lower areas are not in check, if they're not handled and working well, then that child is going to struggle in those other areas. That's why it's so important to be checking for primitive reflexes. Okay, so they emerge in utero, and basically the child will repeat specific movements. These movements have jobs to organize and to mature the brain. And then after those movements have been done enough, then those reflexes are dormant, or they turn into postural reflexes, which are the reflexes we all have right now. Our ability to sit in a chair, to hold our head straight, to be able to catch ourselves if we fall. These are the long-term reflexes that we all share. Where did my water go? I think I might have left it. Hey, hi Nicole, so good to see you, and Kristen, Martina, Jen, welcome. Okay, so I was just saying, anything that I'm talking about today, if it makes sense to you, I want you to give me some fire, to give me some hearts. Like I said before, the more that you engage as I'm chatting, the more people will get a reminder of this live call. And if they can't watch it right now, no big deal, they can watch it later. But this is to help other families and kids. All right, so let's see, our next one is some of the challenges that come with unintegrated reflexes. So when a reflex becomes dormant, they call it being integrated. You know, it's taken in and it's integrated into the body. So you no longer are having those automatic reflexes, okay? So it helps them, if it's not integrated, the nervous system can stay kind of immature, almost in a raw, vulnerable state. So you might have kids who have sensory processing challenges. Part of that can be because they have reflexes that are not integrated. Some of our kids are always in fight or flight, or a lot of the day they're in fight or flight. That's also a sign of an unintegrated reflex. Some other issues, again, sensory processing disorders, body parts that don't move independently. Okay, so body parts that don't move independently. I'm going to show you a video here in just a second to talk about our very first reflex. And what happens is how it makes it difficult for a child to be coordinated, to move with ease, to sit comfortably in a chair, to learn, to not get overly tired while they're studying or just trying to play. There are some kids that have a hard time even keeping their arms up to play for very long, right? Or even keeping their head up, where they always have to use their hand to hold their head up, okay? All of those can be signs of unintegrated reflexes. But what the great news is that at any time, you can do specific movements and help your kiddos get those integrated. In fact, integrating reflexes is amazing for adults as well. All right, so we can have these reflexes that might have integrated themselves years ago, but you might have had an accident or some sort of a trauma, car accident. Those can actually reawaken some of our reflexes Because these reflexes are based in our brainstem, which is really our survival brain. So if something happens really traumatic in our lives, we can actually wake some of those reflexes up and then start suffering with some of the consequences, not knowing that we have these reflexes that we are trying to, that are working against us, okay? All right, so you can have these unintegrated reflexes, a couple more things. So muscle aches and tension, fatigue, those are those kids that have really kind of tight muscles or they're really kind of stiff, and it prevents the brain from maturing, okay? So this first one I want to talk to you about is called the Moro reflex. And I'm going to show you a picture here. So the Moro reflex is also called the startle reflex. This reflex is, as you can see here with this baby, it is a natural reflex that is built into the brainstem that when a child, when their head is dipped down, or they hear this is an infant, or they hear a really loud noise, or they feel something really cold, they will reach out their arms and legs, and then they'll bring them back in, kind of into a tuck position, okay? And during that time, they will also gasp for air and cry, which is the way of that is their way of getting attention so that they can be taken care of, okay? Now, if this is not integrated, we're going to talk about this, okay? So it emerges in utero, and it should be matured by the age of 3 to 4 months. And if it doesn't, then it starts to have some ramifications on a child. We talked about the movement pattern with the rapid opening and coming back with a cry. So challenges that are actually linked to unintegrated to the Moro reflex is behavioral characteristics. So these are children that can have emotional instability or mood swings. They might have poor impulse control or tendency to be aggressive. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Does any of this relate to you? Let me know in the comments. And again, let me know if you have any questions. Okay, cool. All right, so if this reflex is unintegrated, here's some other things that can be a challenge. They can dislike change or surprises. These are the kids that if you surprise them, they automatically kind of react and get really upset. They might start crying. They might get into a panicky state. These kids also have poor transitioning skills, okay? They don't always have to have all of these, but these are some key characteristics. So a couple other things are light sensitivity, all right? Challenges with eye tracking or sustaining visual attention when reading, all right? Visual perception problems like reading from a chalkboard. Some of the motor characteristics that can show up if this reflex isn't integrated is inner ear problems, especially with balance, poor coordination, tense muscle tone. They can be picky eaters and avoid certain foods or textures. And for auditory, sometimes these kids who still have this reflex active can be hypersensitive to sound, or they have difficulty ignoring background sounds. They are challenged with focus and attention and can easily fatigue. Okay, so if any of that sounds like your kiddos or maybe even you, there's a chance that you still have the Moro reflex that's active. If you have underlying anxiety, it's a good excuse to test yourself on this reflex. So, all right, so I'm going to show you a picture of my nephew. This is how you would test for the Moro reflex to see if it is still active or if you need to do the movements to put it to sleep, okay? And so I want you to notice that the limbs are tied together. You'll notice that his feet and his arms at points during this walk, they'll actually mimic themselves, okay? When the Moro is still active, the upper and lower part of the body aren't as independent as they can be. And so without even knowing it, our kids have to work against this reflex to function in life. And it can cause underlying anxiety and fears and kind of panic and worry. All right, so let me show you this video. I think you'll appreciate it.
Head, please, and I want you to slowly walk toward me, okay, in that pigeon toe. Good job. Awesome. Okay, now I want you to slowly walk back, a little bit slower than how you came toward me. Good job. Good job. Keep those toes pointed, yeah? Perfect. Okay, great. Now I want you to do the duck walk toward me too. Awesome. Okay, it's a little bit harder that way, isn't it? Awesome. So good.
All right. So as you see there, you could see how his upper body was mimicking his lower body, right? Now what I want you to know about this, my nephew here, he is the most active of all of their children. He bikes, he rides, he jumps, he skips, he's climbing everything all the time, right? But he also has this underlying kind of fight or flight experience about life. He's always sort of in this, kind of shaky movement. It seems like he's kind of anxious and he has a hard time getting things done fine motor-wise. And so when I was noticing that, I thought, hey, let me test you and let me see how this shakes out for you. So that is an example of someone who has an active Moro reflex. Okay. So this is something you can actually test with your own child or with yourself. So walking forward a good amount and then walking backwards, both the pigeon and the duck walk. Okay, so we talked about all these things. What the great news is that doing neurodevelopmental movement actually reboots and develops the brain and sensory system at any age. All right, so you can go back and do these movements and you can integrate those reflexes so that they are not causing challenges for your child. Behavior-wise, learning, focus, coordination, all of those things, especially with the Moro, can be integrated and your child can have a body that functions easier, that they're not in fight or flight all the time. They can be calm and relaxed and they'll just feel way better about everything that they do. Now, this small program here is my sensory motor mini course, and you can get that right on my website. Just go to wholebraingym.com, and you can get this particular slide. It has my webinar, and it also has my workbook that goes with it. Okay, and it teaches you 4 movements to help mature the brain and the sensory system. Okay, that describes Toby quite a bit. That would be really interesting to try with your son, Jen, to do that and see if he's got that particular reflex still active. Yeah. Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Hi, Kristen. Welcome to this live. It's nice to see you and everyone else. Okay. So that's the end of this slide. Now what I want to do with you is I want to show you how to test for these other ones. No, not that. How do I make this? How do I make this? How do I get out of this thing? It's so funny. Okay, I'm going to close this. I apologize. Here we go. Here we are. Perfect. Okay, so did any of that I was talking about sound like your child? Jen's saying that this sounds quite a bit like Toby. Hi, Kristen. Yes, do your child struggle with anxiety, with coordination, um, with light sensitivity, sound sensitivity? Do they struggle with paying attention or focus? If any of those things are a challenge for your child, they very well might have this active Moro reflex. Okay, and you can go to that course on my website, you can get it, and you can learn 4 amazing calming movements that can help integrate the Moro reflex. Awesome. I will give it a try. Cool. Now in my 90-day program, I actually go into multiple activities specific to each one of those reflex integrations so that you can really pinpoint which one you need to work on your child. In the sensory motor mini course, it's 4 movements that helps all reflexes integrate, just to let you know. So if any of this makes sense to you, please give me some fires, give me some hearts. Let me know that this makes sense to you, that you're enjoying it, that you want to hear more. It kind of keeps me motivated to keep talking. All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so there's 2 more I wanted to talk about. Talking about the palmar and the Babkin or suck reflex. Okay. Now here's the Babkin and the suck both have to do with the mouth, all right? And what happens and why kids can struggle with eating and with other things if the reflexes in their mouth have not been integrated, okay? Both of my kids have ADHD, so the focus and concentration are a struggle with my kids. Cool. Okay, so I tried the rhythmic movements. He doesn't like it. Okay, Jen, that's good feedback. I'd be interested in for kids, especially on the spectrum. Sometimes, and I might have already told you this, sometimes they don't like the movements at all. And so what you have to do is to introduce those movements so that you can start maturing the brain. My clients will actually, when their child is going to bed or when they're actually asleep, they'll gently rock the bed so that the body is getting that impulse and getting that movement and that organization, but it's not bothering the child. So if you want to know more about that, just get a hold of me. I'd be happy to share those things with you. Because I know some kiddos are super, super sensitive to the movement, especially if they are on the spectrum. Okay, so Kristen, cool. Thanks for sharing, you guys. That's awesome. All right. What was I talking about? Oh, the Babkin. Okay, so I have what I want you to do to be able to test this. You're going to need a little paintbrush like this. Okay, super easy. Or even you could use your finger or maybe a Q-tip or something that's kind of light that you can brush. And let me share with you why and what the challenges are with behavior with the Babkin as well as the palmar reflex. Okay, so when a baby is born, right, they clench their hands like this. So you can put your finger in there and they clench around it, right? And they hold on really tight. This reflex is to help a baby hold on to their mama, right? So when they're born, they're tiny, they can't take care of themselves, right? And they really need to hold on to their mamas. And so they have this reflex, this grasp reflex to hold on, which is amazing because we want our kids to hold on, right? Cool, I can do that, Jen says. Yeah, try that. Try that for a couple weeks while he's asleep. And that could be super helpful. All right, okay, the grasp reflex. So here's the thing. If your hand reflexes are still active in a child, these kids will have, they will hold their pencils really, really hard. Where they draw hard, they might even break their pencil. They might erase really hard, okay? These are kids that have a hard time, when they're active, they have a hard time with fine motor skills, right? Picking things up, buttoning buttons, manipulating things with their hands, okay? Now your kids might like I know I have some clients that have active reflexes that they're working on, but they can still do Legos, okay? They might be able to hold on to something that big and put it together, but we're talking about the really other fine motor skills that takes to tie shoes You know those kiddos that are 10 and they still can't tie their shoes? I will bet you $100 that they still have active reflexes in their hands, okay? Obviously, it makes it hard to do lots of things in life, right? To cut with scissors, to be able to glue and paste, to be able to manipulate small things, to be able to fix things, to put your clothes on for yourself, right? So here is how you test it, all right? And I was teaching another one of my clients about this, and I told her, I said, I think you should try to test your son's hands. And I don't know if she's on here. I don't think she's on here right now. But what you want to do is you want to take this paintbrush, okay, and you want to basically lightly brush down the palm of their hand, okay? And what you're looking for is any sort of movements of the fingers, or if it burns, or it tickles, or it itches. Okay, so as you can see for me, I can rub this along there. I mean, it's light and gentle, but I'm not going, like, it doesn't bother me. Okay, this shows that this, on my left hand, this hand is integrated. Okay, and you can try this on yourself or have someone do it for you in case you really want to see your reaction. So again, you're going to be brushing down the side of their hands, and you're looking for any sort of movement in the hands or in their mouth. Okay, when a baby is nursing or drinking a bottle, when they're nursing with their mouth, you also can see them when they're young, they need their hands. Okay, this is the automatic movement to strengthen the muscles of the hands of a baby so they can start to get up and move around eventually, to hold on to toys, to look at things. So it's this innate movement, and while they nurse, it's connected. It's called the babkin. So you've got a movement in your mouth with a movement to your hands. So do you know those kids that when they're cutting their scissors, they have their mouths open and sometimes their tongues are hanging out, right? Or they're moving their mouth while they cut? That just shows that that reflex is still active, okay? Now, one of the ways to help with that is to suck through straws, to blow bubbles is another way to integrate that by having fun, making a milkshake and sucking that. Another way so those are a couple things you can do to integrate it, right? And so we're talking about the hands. And one of my clients, when she tested her son's hands, he told her that they felt like they were on fire. So can you imagine, and he's 12 years old, okay, has severe ADHD. You know, now that school is out, she's not getting phone calls from the school, but it was almost every day she would get a phone call from the school, and she's just didn't know what to do. She's just overwhelmed. Does any of this sound familiar to you? Or do your kids have any of these challenges with their hands? Let me know in the comments. Okay. I don't have my water, and I'm not going to go get it either, but so my mouth is a little dry. Okay, so here we go. Let me see one more time. Okay, so my other client, which was really interesting, and I should post this video in the group. I think you guys might find it interesting. When I was testing her hands, so I would be brushing this hand with the brush. This hand didn't move, but her other hand would move. When I brushed this hand, her other hand would move like this. When I would brush this hand, her other hand would move. So it was really fascinating for her. And then as she started doing the exercises, those things started to integrate so that she didn't have to hold so hard with her pencil. Now she's 18, she's going on to college. She's been, super uncoordinated, accident prone, has a hard time with fine motor skills. All of these are telltale signs that there's active reflexes that this individual is having, and everything is more challenging when those haven't been integrated emotionally, behaviorally, in learning, and with focus. Awesome. Okay, let's see. So what you want to do is, if you have that, then in my I forgot to tell you, but I get to tell you at the end. It's so exciting. Okay. So I have a solution to all of this because there's exercises and a need for oversight and helping you integrate those. So I'm actually doing another live workshop in 2 weeks right here in this group. Okay, so if you, I'd love for you to sign up for the workshop, okay, to watch it in this group. It starts on April 13th and it's called Quiet the Chaos. And we are going to be, again, addressing behavior challenges with our kids and other things to help our kids really thrive so that we can stop the meltdowns and the tantrums. And my workshop is even better than last time. So those of you that were in my workshop last time, I've improved it. I've made some upgrades to it. So you're going to definitely want to participate. So make sure that you go and sign up, or just let me know here in the group that you want to participate. It would be awesome. Just say, I'm going to the workshop, and it starts April 13th. So anybody else that, if you know of anyone that would enjoy coming to the workshop, go ahead and tell them, invite them to the group. We'd love to have them participate. And the other thing that I'm doing that goes along with this reflex integration is that I'm offering a 90-day program. So before I was doing a 6-month Family Thrive Academy, now I've developed a 90-day whole brain connections program. So it's a cheaper price. It is only 90 days, and we help your kids reach their potential and to be able to integrate those reflexes, to be able to improve their behavior and learn the ability to help connect with your child, to better understand what's really going on underneath, and to empower them to be able to problem solve and to overcome their own challenges themselves. So that's super important for us parents, is to help our kids and get them ready for their life, right? So that they can take care of any challenges that they run into, especially behaviorally. They have got triggers or things that overwhelm them, or they get frustrated and they're aggressive. We get to help figure out what's really going on underneath, whether it's reflexes or sensory, or even relational with connection and understanding and empowerment. We're going to address all of those things in the 90-day program, but I'm going to get you on a jump start with the workshop in 2 weeks. So I'm going to start promoting that, let you know more as that comes up. So keep your eyes open for that. I should take care of my need for water. You know what? Thank you. I will go get my water. Haven't I been talking about needs? Okay, I'll be right back. That's so funny. I'm still on the live. They told me to go get my water. You know what? Thank you, Jen. I've been preaching about feelings and needs, haven't I? I just needed to go get my water. Okay, awesome. All right, let me know if you want me to keep going or if you guys feel complete. Let me know. All right, or if you have any other questions. Awesome. Hi, Kristen again. Okay, so here's how you test for the suck reflex or the Babkin reflex. Okay, similar, same little paintbrush. And what you're going to do is start kind of high, and you're going to brush down toward the corner of your mouth, on your child's mouth. So like 10 to 12 times. And what you're looking for is any sort of movements in the lips, any movements in the hands. And if there is movements, then you know that reflex is still active. Okay? When this reflex is still active, it can create problems with speech, their ability to enunciate. These kids sometimes can be really messy eaters, like food falls out of their mouth, or they can be kind of sensitive to food or textures. That can cause some challenges for them as well. Expressive language, obviously, and so when these are active, your kids could be trying to speak and to communicate, but they're actually working against some of those reflexes, and it makes it hard for them and their mouths to work independently, as well as their hand, as well as their upper and lower body. So all three of these reflexes, when they're not integrated, they connect with one another, and it makes life more challenging. Just the simple things of life can be more challenging. Okay, so let me see if there's any questions on here. Hello. Let's see, Nicole. Yes, my son is in OT for these reasons. Awesome. So what's so cool about this, Nicole, is that as you learn some of these things and you talk to your OT about it, you can come home and do some of these exercises with your son to help integrate those even faster. Yeah, so reflexes and sensory stuff is totally an OT oversight. But what I do is I help families know what they can be doing at home. And if they have a therapist, make sure you talk to them about that and say, hey, here's a couple things that I'm doing. What do you think about it, right? So run it by them for sure. But it's great to know what you can be doing at home to like catapult your child's improvements and gains. Okay. Awesome. Hi, Kimberly Page. I was just talking about you. Cool. In a good way. In a totally good way. Awesome. Okay, so if you have any other questions, let me know. So just to go over, again, we talked about reflexes, primitive reflexes, that they are ingrained, well, they're actually in the brain stem. They're automatic movements that are programmed in there that start in utero. And most of them should be integrated by the age of 3 at the very latest. If they are not, they start to cause sensory challenges for kids, behavior challenges, ability to speak and express themselves, as well as cognitive challenges. When these building blocks are not strong and the brain hasn't matured, the child is going to struggle with lots of things. And sometimes all we see is behavior and all we see is frustration, but really what's going on is something deeper underneath that. And so today we talked about those reflexes. For the Moro reflex, if your child is sensitive to light, if they're uncoordinated, if they're sensitive to sound, if they feel like they're in fight or flight all the time, or have anxiety, if they have a hard time focusing, or a hard time looking at people in the eyes, or even their body is connected, so they're not able to balance as well, okay? They could have an active Moro reflex. All right, talking about the hands, the palmar, right? We talked about these. Babies have that. If you put your hand right there on a little baby, they'll grab onto your finger and they won't let go, right? So that's to help that baby hold on to their mama, to keep them safe and protected. And then we also talked about the Babkin or the suck reflex and how it's connected to the hands, that when a baby nurses or drinks, a lot of time when they're little, they need their hands. They're doing that to build the muscles and the strength in their hands, to be able to do all the things that are coming as they mature, so they can hold toys and push themselves up, get on their hands and knees, crawl around, do all of those things. If our hands aren't strong, we're not going to be able to do those. And so that's what our body is so amazing. You know, I'm a firm believer in God, and I believe He created us in this incredible, marvelous way. And I think our bodies are perfectly designed, and I'm excited to share some of these things with you because they're already programmed in our body, and if they haven't gone to sleep, we need to help them do that. We need to help them get integrated. Okay. And then I showed you how to test for it. So on here is the video of my nephew where he does the duck walk and he does the pigeon toes. And what you'll notice is that his upper body and his lower body at times are mimicking each other, and you can see how they're still connected. And so you can imagine how that can impede coordination, right? That can make it hard and challenging for a child to play a sport, to feel comfortable around their peers because they don't feel as coordinated, right? And then we talked about the challenges with having an active palmar reflex. And these children can hold their pencils really tight or erase really hard, or they don't know they don't know how to hold stuff. Maybe they break stuff all the time. I had a daughter when she was younger. She really didn't know the strength of her hand. She couldn't really tell the force by which she was doing something, and she would always break it. Like if she didn't know how to do it and she was trying to get something apart, she would always break it, and it kind of was a crazy thing to us, but now I understand why. So, and then also the suck reflex. It can be a challenge for eating. They can be picky eaters. It could be communication can be challenging for them. They might have sensitivities to textures, and it can just be hard for them to eat. They might not like to eat because the reflex is being agitated. So okay, so and then I showed you how to test them. So if you're interested more, number one, I'm doing another live workshop. It starts in 2 weeks. I've improved it, made it even better. So if you were in the workshop last time, you're going to want to be in the workshop this time. And I'm doing it over a longer period of time so that we can really integrate the information, the new information that I've put in there, and you can really practice it with your kids at home and then come back and ask questions, because I felt like last time we might have gone a little too fast. So I'm going to spread it out a little bit longer. It'll be about 10 days of me actually teaching and asking questions. I'm not going to teach every single day, but it'll be over 10 days. And I think you'll really, really like it. So if you know of anybody that might be interested, have them sign up, and I'll post a link on the Facebook group so that they can go right to the sign up form and get on this. Awesome. Okay, so if you enjoyed this live today, I know I've gone 40 minutes, give me some hearts and some fires and let me know that this has been good information for you. If you have any questions, let me know. If you would like to integrate some of these things, you can go to my website and get my sensory motor mini course, and it'll take you through how to do 4 simple movements to help integrate reflexes. Or you can wait until my 90-day program opens at the end of the workshop so that you can get one-on-one group and one-on-one coaching from me to help your child succeed. So I will talk to you guys later, and you have a blessed day. Give your kids a hug, take a minute to connect, and see the beauty of this crisis, that we're closer. We have an opportunity to be closer, to improve our relationships, to focus on what really, really matters, and to kind of cut away all the things that doesn't matter. I send my blessings to you that you'll have everything that you need, that you'll have the shelter and the food and the support that you need and that your kids need. So until another day, bye.